Hi everyone, it's Karen from the Geordie Grandma. Welcome back to my channel. Hope everybody's well. Today I want to talk about morning routines that kind of set you up for a productive day. Now this is my morning routine, things that I do to make myself motivated. So it's for days, mainly it's for days when I'm at home. So not for those days if I am going out to work. It's for when I'm at home. Although I do, well I can, I can tweak it a little bit for the days that I would go to work. So I've got 10 things on my list that I wanted to go through. So I'll just get started. The first one is when I first wake up, which is sometimes, to be honest, is 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't sleep very well, but I aim for at least 5 o'clock in the morning. If it's 5 o'clock and I'm awake, I can get up. But what I don't want to do is lie in bed when I wake up and scroll through my phone. That is a slippery slope. Because I'll go onto Facebook, I'll be on Instagram, I'll look at my emails, I'll look at the news website, and this does not set me up for a motivating day to be productive. It just doesn't. It delays us getting up. I don't like lying in bed once I'm awake. I've never been a one for lying in bed. I like to get up when I'm awake. So if I want a day where I'm going to be productive, I don't do that. I don't pick my phone up until I'm downstairs. The second thing that motivates us is if I make the bed. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's a subconscious mindset thing, but if I make the bed and the bedroom's all nice and tidy, then it kind of sets my mind up. It makes us clearer. It just sets me day up for to be more productive. I don't know why. It just does. So I always make the bed, obviously once Warren's out of it, I make the bed. Then I like to have a cup of tea. I start my day off, and if I start my day off with coffee, I always start my day off with a cup of tea, a herbal tea, and it's usually lemon and ginger, or sometimes I'll have a peppermint tea, but I always start the day off with a tea. Again, it's something I prefer to do. Coffee just seems to, coffee always leaves like a bad taste in your mouth, like a coffee mouth you've got. And that just, for me, doesn't make for a motivating day. I like to start the day off with a nice fresh herbal tea. That gets us in the right frame of mind. While I'm having my cup of tea, so this is usually before I've had breakfast, and it's usually before Warren gets up. I'll have my cup of tea, and I've started to read a motivating book or watch a motivating YouTube video. Now, one of the reasons I started to do this was, I think it was last year. It's probably done it for a few years, but I really noticed it last year. I would get out of bed, I'd sit on the settee, have my cup of tea, I put the telly on, but I would put the news on, and then I would sit there, and it would rile us up, and I would get all irritated. So then I'd be in me what I call me slobby clothes, just like lounging about clothes. These are clothes that if you were needed to go out the house, you wouldn't want to go out the house in these clothes. So I've got my slobby clothes on, I've watched the news, I'll have my breakfast, and it puts us on a downer for a day. I probably haven't been washed, and I'll sit there and I'll watch something else on the telly. I'll watch, maybe a box set of something, and by the time I've looked up, it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm still in me slobby clothes. I haven't been eating properly. I've been eating biscuits and crap, and I'm just not motivated. You just know this is not going to be a productive day. And I found that this was happening quite a lot. So this is one of the reasons that I kind of tried to develop a routine to stop that happening. And it does still happen occasionally, but not as often as it used to. So I go back to what I was doing. This was my fourth point. Whilst I'm having my cup of tea, I'll read a motivational book or watch a motivational video on YouTube. So the book I'm reading at the moment, I'll just share it with you. It's a book called Forward After 50, and it's by Ronane. And I think she's in her 60s, and I think she's a life coach now. And it's talking about resetting your mindset when you're after 50, because I think, if you're over 50, I don't know if you're like me, you just think, oh God, time's getting on, is it too late to do anything, I'm too old for this, I'm too old for that. I've heard myself say it, I've heard other YouTubers say it, I've heard my friends say it. And if you read this book, it talks all about, stop having ageist thoughts, don't think like that. It talks about, I've nearly finished this book. It talks about reinventing yourself after 50, getting the right mindset, getting into the zone. It talks about well-being, about looking after yourself, so you're not finished at 60. You can have a very productive life after that if you keep yourself healthy as much as you can. Obviously, you can't prevent unexpected things happening, but you can change your mindset about how you feel about being in your 50s. And she was saying it's a great time to actually start your own business, or even to start a new career. You've got so much life experience that this is a good time to think about that. And there's so many people over 50, over 60, working into their 70s and 80s, that it's nothing, it's nothing new anymore. Go back 40 years and people just didn't do that. You've got more time after 50. You've got more time because normally you wouldn't have children. You probably got the house to yourself. You've got more time for things. You've got more time to learn things, more time to do things that you want to. She talks about being wise, believe in yourself, being a wise owl, being an independent woman. So, don't rely on other things. Don't rely on people. Sort your finances out and things like that. So it's a really interesting book, and what I like about it is it's got little sections in it, so it's not too taxing to read, especially at 5 o'clock in the morning. And it's got little sections in it. It's got little quotes from people. I'm trying to find the end of the chapter so I can show you. It's got chapter reflection and a take action section after each chapter, so you can make some notes and get cracking on the things she's asking you, she's suggesting you do. So I highly recommend Forward After 50, The Rising Reinventors by Ronane. If you want to have a look at her book, I'll put the link in the box below. I like to read motivational books, and she was the one I came across recently, so yeah, I find that very good. If I'm not reading a motivational book, I like to watch a motivational YouTube video, and I like to watch videos. I like all kinds of YouTube videos, but if I'm wanting something motivational, it's not going to be shopping hauls or clothes try-ons or anything like that. I try and look for people who run their own businesses, because a lot of the times, they're working in their business when they're doing the video, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, they're not sitting just, watching crap on the telly and stuff in their face. They're working, and it makes me want to get up and do some work. So I'll watch people like, there's a lady called Catnip, who's got she's got like a little graphic design business where she does stickers and calendars and all things like that on Etsy. She always motivates us. Zahia from, I think it's only Cool Stuff, his channel is. He always, I find him quite motivating. Kirsten from Kirsten's Curiosities, her videos are always, her in her shop and she's doing things. And because I see these people doing things, it motivates me to want to actually do something as well, rather than just sitting watching, whatever I'm watching box set wise on the TV. So after I've watched the video or read the book, I'll have my breakfast. I know a lot of people don't eat breakfast first thing in the morning, but for me, I don't know whether it's a long time association. You get up, you have a cup of tea, you have your breakfast. But if I don't eat first thing, then I'm usually starving and I'll start picking, and that doesn't that doesn't make for a very productive day if I start with the biscuits. So if I have my breakfast, it kind of sets us up for the day. I would normally I eat something like Weetabix. If I'm on a low carb kick, then I'll try and just have like eggs or something like that, or eggs and vegetarian bacon. If I'm being really good low carb wise, then I'll have a low carb protein shake with some avocado chunks blitzed into it. A decent breakfast keeps me hungry at bay, and that sets us up for a more productive day, most definitely. I'd love to know if you eat breakfast first thing when you get up, or if you're a person who just eats something later at 11 o'clock because you're not hungry then. Let us know in the comments below. So after breakfast, I would probably have a shower. On these days that I was talking about where I haven't done anything and I'm totally unmotivated and have a very unproductive day, I tend not even to get washed. Sometimes I don't even clean my teeth. I know it sounds horrendous. So if I'm wanting to be really motivated, I would go in the shower. And if I'm having a shower, I'll sometimes put on some music while I'm in the shower, some, kind of upbeat music to make me feel awake. Or I might even listen to a podcast if I can, if it's something that I'm wanting to do that morning. I'll listen to a podcast about it. So if I was blogging or something, I might listen to a podcast about blogging, or I might listen to a podcast from, some kind of business perspective, just to get me motivated into doing something. But I also listen to music in the shower as well. That kind of gets us singing in the shower and stuff like that, and really makes you feel more awake and upbeat. And I'll try and use a shower gel. It's like an invigorating shower gel. There's a couple from Aldi that I really like, the Cura ones, and one was it's tea tree in mint, and there was a lemon one as well. They're very invigorating. They really wake you up and feel like you're wide awake and you want to do things. So a shower always gets us motivated. And I tend to find, again, on the days where I'm not motivated, don't wash my face, don't put makeup on, nothing, my hair's a mess. If anybody knocks on the door, I really don't want to answer the door because I look so horrendous. So if I'm wanting a motivating day, I'll put my makeup on. I want to be ready for anything, if I'm going to be productive. So just putting my makeup on feels like I'm going to go out to work. That's not to say, if you don't wear makeup, you can't feel productive without makeup, because of course you can. Just personally, it makes me feel better about myself. And if my daughter rings, which she has done, quite a few times, and said, "Mum, do you want to come for a coffee, or do you want to come to Home Bargains?" And I'm sitting there in my slobby clothes, hair all over the place, no makeup on, thinking, "Oh God, I need to get ready first." And I might end up saying, "No, I'm not coming." But if I've got ready and I feel good about myself, then if she rings, I'm ready to go. So that's a good thing. So I'll tend to put my makeup on if I want to feel motivated. Another thing I would do is, I don't always do this, I'll get dressed properly as though I'm going out for the day. I'm not saying, I'm going to put a suit on or, be dressed as though I was going to work, but I won't wear like, scruffy pajama bottoms and a t-shirt. I'll actually, put some, maybe some jeggings or a pair of jeans on, and, a nice top. Again, so if I am going out, I'm dressed for it. That sometimes motivates me if I really, really can't be bothered and I think, I've got to go and sit in me home office and do something. I'll just sit on the settee and do nothing. If I'm dressed, it makes us feel like more feel like I want to go and do something. So I'll get dressed for the day. Another thing I like to do, so I've given you 8 points already. This is number 9. I'll do the breakfast dishes. I hate seeing, when I come into the kitchen to make a cup of coffee, I hate seeing like a pile of dishes on the bench ready to go. So I just think, oh God, I need to do these dishes. So again, when I'm doing the dishes, I'll put a YouTube video on, or I'll put a podcast on, and I'll listen to that while I'm doing the dishes. So I'm not doing the dishes thinking, what box set can I watch on the telly? What YouTube videos can I watch, that aren't motivating? what kind of Primark shopping hauls can I watch. So I'll listen to something like that while I'm doing the dishes, and that usually motivates us as well. And the last thing I do that I find gives us a really good start to having a productive day is to check over my to-do list. So this is really something I do the night before if I know I want a good productive day the next day. It doesn't even have to be, a work day. It doesn't have to be something you're going to do in the house. So, if you're an eBay reseller or you're a YouTuber or whatever else you do at home, it doesn't have to be a productive day in the way of work. It can be, you might want a productive day in that you want to go out and enjoy yourself for the day, and you're going to feel more like it if you do these things. Or you might just want to get some housework done, and you might feel more likely to do it if you do some of these things. So the last thing, like I said, I'll do my to-do list the night before, and I usually only put 3 things on it that I really want to get done the next day, because I find if I put any more than 3 things on, it's a bit overwhelming and I just won't do it. So I'll put 3 things on that I want to do the next day. So if I check me to-do list, first thing before I start, I've got those 3 things right there. I say, okay, I need to do this, this, and this. And if I've done all of the other things before that, I'm more likely to do it. So that is my morning routine. And I found that the times where I have gone out to work, so I've had a temp job, I do follow a lot of those things. I might not wash the dishes. I might leave those for Warren if I'm going out for work. But I tend to always do the other things. I might not read a book or watch I'm looking at my notes here. I might not read a motivational book, or watch a motivational YouTube video on the mornings that I might be going out to work. But what I have done in the past is, especially if I'm going on a bus journey because I don't drive, I'll take my headphones and I'll listen to a motivational podcast on the bus, or I'll read something, upbeat and motivational on, I keep saying motivational in this video, but I suppose that's what it's about. I'll watch a motivational audio book, something like that. So it's getting us prepared for the day to come. So I'm not slouching on the bus thinking, what could I be doing if I was sitting at home and all this. These things definitely work for me. They definitely make me have a more productive day. And since I've developed this kind of routine, it's not a massive routine, they're just little things. Since I've developed this, I've definitely had less days where I'm sitting thinking, nah, I'm not getting ready, I'm just going to eat rubbish, I'm just going to watch crap on the telly, and I don't get anything done. I've definitely had less of those days, and I feel better in myself. It makes us feel happier. It probably makes the people who I'm talking to during the day feel happier as well. So that is my morning routine. I would love to hear if you have your own morning routine. Do you do any of these things that I've talked about? Do you do anything different? Please let me know in the comments below, because it's good to share these things. We can try different things. So that's all I've got for you this morning. I hope you found that interesting. Those were my 10 points that give me motivation for a productive day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. So bye for now.